Welcome to the Young and the Restless, the PopCulturists WWE podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Betson. Alongside me,
I am the Ayatollah of rock and roller, Jem.
So yeah, this is our brand new show here at the PopCulturists. After falling in love with wrestling, we thought we would dive in and just fucking talk about it and just gush the way we want about it and have a place, and hopefully people out there enjoy it as much as we do. Probably just to get conversation started, let's talk about our history with wrestling. Yeah, see, like my history is of September of last year, like Super Showdown. I was like, oh, this will be a rad thing to check out because it was in Melbourne, whatever. And now, like, almost 6 months later, I have fucking merch, I got toys. Like, I am just in this shit deep. Like, I had a little bit of time back in the Attitude Era, but like very, very tiny. So it's like, this is my new thing. This has absorbed me in a way that like fucking rashes haven't. Like, this shit is gnarly. Like, I'm in.
Yeah. See, I am all about the Attitude Era. Back in the day, I grew up wrestling, wanting to wrestle, you know. And I guess as I got older, I just sort of fell out of love with it. And then recently, same sort of thing within the last couple of months, like seeing obviously you get into it, it sort of sparked that in me as well. And now I'm just all about it. So,
no, that's definitely one of the things that's been really good. Like because there is certainly a stigma around wrestling and whether whether you enjoy, whether you don't. Because like every person that talks to me, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking love wrestling, and they're like, really? Well, you're like 30, and I'm like, shut up, it's awesome. So knowing that like yourself and a couple other members of the PopC community, like they're all fans too, and it made it really cool. Like I'm like, I fucking love this new thing, and I feel a little bit ashamed about loving this new thing, and then everyone's like, nah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Good shit. But yeah, so what the plans for this show are relatively simple and straightforward. We are I think we'll, as of right now anyway, plans always change. We will have a look at Raw and SmackDown for that week, and then we'll look at how that potentially could lead to the whatever pay-per-view is for that month. So as of right now, day of recording is the of January, 13th of January. We are on the road to Royal Rumble at this point. Everything's getting in line. We're getting announcements left, right, and center of who's going to be in this Rumble. So already we'll do a quick run over of what's going to happen later in the month at Royal Rumble, but we'll also have a full predictions episode just before the Rumble to get you all excited.
Yeah.
So already we're going to be seeing of course the men's Rumble. We have about 19 competitors. We'll get to that after we talk about the shows because a lot of that happens this week. And then the second ever Women's Royal Rumble. We've got the Universal Championship between Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman.
Yes.
We'll also be seeing championship battles for the Women's Championship with on Raw and SmackDown for both. We can get into those a little bit later. But there's a lot going on.
A lot.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
It's great.
I've watched the last 2018 Rumble a couple of times.
Yeah. Just
because it's fucking dope.
Yeah.
Like the whole idea of this is 30 people just beating the shit out of each other.
Pretty
then
good.
last night we did also, Dylan was over and I introduced him to Titus O'Neil. And his greatest Royal Rumble bullshit.
That was amazing.
Oh, Dylan died. He thought it was fantastic.
Oh, that was so... You can't plan that shit.
No,
you cannot plan it.
No, it's beautiful. And then like Corey Graves giggling for about 20 minutes.
I know. We all were, let's be honest.
Yeah, I love it. Because what I actually watched, he was doing an interview on like Sirius FM or something.
Okay, yeah.
And he just talked about how, you know, like the other guys tried to get back to business. They're like, yeah, it was funny, but let's keep it. And he's just couldn't start. He couldn't get him out. And then obviously, I think everyone sort of picked that he'd broken because even when the control room, they just kept throwing replays at him.
Yeah.
Just to keep him going. Yeah, just to keep him going.
I love it.
But what I loved is like you can tell he was pissed. I didn't get this pointed out until I watched the thing last night. It was like Titus O'Neil falls down. First, I know he ran into the ring, fell over, slid under the ring. 7-foot dude just fucking gets missing under the.
Yeah, it's like Narnia. Like he's gone. You're never gonna find him again.
Never gonna see it. And then he crawls back out, and he gets in, ducks a punch, and then just proceeds to belt Elias in the guts. Like Elias was busy fighting. He didn't see it. Turns around, the dude punches him in the guts like brutally.
Now that you've mentioned it, I didn't notice that either. But now that you mention it,
but no, it's like he's bummed. Like he's pissed. Yeah. He's like, no, I just fumbled my entrance. 49 other wrestlers came in without a concern. I ate shit. You're gonna die alive.
Yeah. Poor guy. You're in my way. Take that.
That's
Poor
it. So
bastard.
we're going to kick things off with Raw, as they do on the week. So this is the first official Raw of 2017. It aired on the 7th of January in the United States. It kicked things off with the a Mean Gene promo, sort of letting us know that we're going to be getting a visit from Hulk Hogan this week to sort of pay tribute to one of the greats. Of wrestling. So he was obviously not part of my wrestling scene.
Very much was mine.
Yeah.
He was the announcer of all announcers. He was, definitely a huge thing. A huge thing. He was like just phenomenal at what he did. Like you can see from the promos, like how well loved he was, how he was funny. He was super witty. Like he was just on the joke straight away. Somebody said something stupid, he'd be straight on it. He was just great at it. There was a reason he was who he was.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And devastating. Obviously, it's always devastating to lose somebody that, say I grew up with, wrestlers like that. It's always heartbreaking. And I do get a bit teary, let's be honest. Like, when I see those sorts of things happen.
I'm like, since having a son and all that stuff, like, I'm just an emotional mess at this point. So, like, if I find her, I'll probably cry, drop the hat. So, like, even, like, I get oddly fucking teary when, like, where... say Ronda walks out, sees a kid, like a young girl in a Ronda outfit, fucking goes up, gives her the hand thing, and that kid's like ecstatic, and I'm like,
me too.
Like, this is the shit that I love. I don't know why I get like fucking moved by that.
Yeah,
I can't explain.
Exactly it. It's experiencing it. Like it's totally. I get it exactly. Once you do dive into this the way we have, like you really do start to feel for it. You really do. It becomes a part of you in a way that you can't explain. And when the superstars that you look up to get emotional, you get emotional, and you see the fans and the way they interact and how there's so much love and passion there, and that definitely gets you going. Like when they do tribute to the troops and all that sort of stuff, I am a hot mess.
Oh man,
hot mess.
Yeah, it's the thing. Like even like with with troops and stuff, because like I am in no shape or any I don't have the balls to ever represent my country, fucking anything. So like when I see stuff like that, and I'm like, these people do legitimately amazing shit in their life. Like there is no way I would ever make that jump to be that loyal to my country or to be that fucking masculine. But amazing. Even like in an example, using like Roman Reigns as an example, with like last year. I'd only been watching like a month, and he comes out and he tells, and I'm like, man, just on the couch like a fucking mess. My wife walks out, I'm like, don't look at me.
100%. That's exactly how it is, because you realize that behind it all, they are real people too, and they love what they do as well. And obviously, like say for Roman, that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking for us to watch him go through that.
Yeah, no, because it's one of those things. I'm like, I couldn't imagine. That'd be fucking painful.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of fucking painful, though, this show kicked off with one member of the Shield getting the stomp on with Bobby Lashley. So Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley just scuffling. It was like backstage, and it started spilling out on stage. There's no explanation of what went going on here. Is there like has there been some previous diss between the two? Like what's going on?
I do not know, to be perfectly honest with you. I heard, obviously, as the show, they started explaining like that they're fighting from previous reasons, but I haven't been watching long enough to know what that was. Yeah,
like so they're only like even during this whole, even with the Baron Corbin coming in and being very being the dominating GM that he was, Seth somehow managed to sort of stay by that. Like although Baron had his little posse of Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, like they for some reason would never target Seth. He was almost in his own world of protection over there with him and Dean, and they were kind of off to the side, and Baron never really got in the way. So I don't think it's even a bleed over from there.
No. Well, wasn't there some thing with Bobby and Dean? Am I imagining this? Wasn't that something, and the reason that maybe they're fighting is because it's a crossover from that?
That could potentially be the case. Who knows? Dean Ambrose being the lunatic fringe, like it's quite possible that he's got in the ear of Bobby Lashley and was like, hey, like this is something's gone down. We need to do this. Like we need to fucking take Seth out. Like because as with last week when Triple H coming in and talking to Seth saying, hey, you don't just get rematch under the new things. You got to earn that shit. We need the old Seth Rollins back.
Yeah.
And maybe, for all I know, Dean could have been like, look, we can't fucking have the old Seth Rollins back. Like,
exactly, yeah.
When he was in the Shield, we can't deal with this. This is too out of control. take him out. I can't take him out. It's the easy answer. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because if we're out of nowhere, we see an injured Seth Rollins, we're like, I bet you it was Dean.
Yeah.
Like, who else would come out? Like, who else has a stake in that fight?
Exactly.
So who knows?
It could be just Bobby Lashley chasing a title.
It could
be. It could just be him thinking, you know what, this is my time. I'm going to take out the front runner. I'm going to make this happen for me.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It could even just be some like just showing dominance, man. Like
that too.
You know, is Bobby Lashley. You know, although he is very prominent and he's a big dude, and like he should be up somewhere else, but you know, like come in there and show him what you got.
And I definitely think now for Bobby Lashley as well, because obviously Bobby Lashley does come from the earlier WWE, the WWE that I used to watch. I definitely
There's
feel
no fucking around then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I definitely feel like Bobby sort of went under the radar there, and I feel like now is his time to sort of make a stand and make a name for himself and be somebody and take those titles and just run with it. Like, and he's targeting the right people and he's going the right way about it.
And even that, he's got Leo Rush there being, you know, his mouthpiece, like his promoter, and you know, like Rush is saying all these exceptional, wonderful things. So we are certainly hearing about how imposing Lashley is as a wrestler. Or as a superstar, we should say.
Yes.
You don't use the term wrestler. You know, as a superstar, so it makes total sense for him to then demonstrate that.
Exactly.
Like, you know, we can't have him be all hype. He's got to come out and show this. So
exactly it.
I guess that makes sense. It's all well and good, but eventually that got, you know, refs were there. They got pulled apart. They kept away. And, you know, to sort of change that mood, out comes John Cena.
My favorite.
His first time on Raw for 2019.
I am unashamedly in love with that man. I always have been, and I always will be. Yeah. I honestly do believe John Cena is the greatest of all time when it comes to wrestling. And I had this discussion with somebody recently saying, oh, but what about like your Triple H's and stuff like that? And I'm like, well, yeah, you know, Triple H, The Rock, like they could be, but none of them have now the mouthpiece that John has. Like none of them have that charisma, that enthusiasm, that quick wit. Like obviously we had that big ordeal with, you know, John Cena and The Rock with his writing on his arm back in the day. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah, so John Cena and The Rock had a promo when their whole first thing started, and The Rock had his notes written on his forearm, and John Cena was just legit shooting off the hip, like he was just ripping him apart, and he even like, you know, like at least I can do a promo without having to write my notes on my forearm, like in the middle of the ring in front of thousands of people, live on all networks. Like it was, I definitely believe he's the greatest of all time because of that. Like he's just got that thing. Yeah. Like he is a superstar.
And like because we're starting on this week, like we can't really get to touch on what happened last week with at SmackDown, where he rocks up and gets in a tag team match with Becky.
Yes.
That the way like what he comes out and he says before that, he's like, look, I know how this works. I'm here. Some man's gonna come out and we're gonna have a beatdown. It's how it works. It's like, I know as John Cena, I'm gonna come in. That's what's gonna happen.
The new kid's gonna try and take the torch.
Yeah, you know, like instead he got the man. The man comes out.
And she even says that. She's like, how do you feel about not a man? The man. Oh, great. Absolutely great. I love that she was able to meet him on that level too. Becky blew me away with that. That was so good. I was so in love with it.
Fantastic. But as you said, like you do agree that John Cena may be one of the best in the world.
Definitely
one of the best ever. You know, Vince McMahon shares the same thought process, as does Drew McIntyre. So during this little spiel, out comes Drew McIntyre to sort of be like, dude, I know who you are. You've been here. You're done. I'm the new main superstar here at Raw. Yes. It's like, you are, you know, I agree with Vince. You are the best you are one of the best that's ever been, and for that reason, I want to take you down a peg.
Of course,
because you know Drew McIntyre is on a run at this point. He is literally a force to be reckoned with. I was about to say the
same thing.
As of recently, as far as I've been paying, even maybe intentionally since he's come back, or at least recently, he has not lost by pinfall.
No.
He's only lost by pinfall once, and that was with Dolph Ziggler with interference from Finn Balor. So the only way, he is just relentless at this point. Like, if anyone can take on John Cena, I think it has to be Drew McIntyre.
100%.
But, you know, to make things interesting, of course, as they're sitting there spitballing and shit, Drew McIntyre gets the ring. I'm stoked. I'm like, this is going to be the shit. We're going to see a one-on-one McIntyre, Cena. It's going to be sick. Out of fucking nowhere comes Leo Rush, bitching and whinging about Seth Rollins jacking on Lashley. Says he's going to get a lawyer involved. I'm not sure whether we have to, and as the guys WWE, what culture, like, is the way he delivers it is like, are they going to have to fight the lawyer? Like, what's going to happen? But no, so
backstage brawl with a lawyer.
Yeah, like the actual authority. That'd be very interesting. But yeah, then out comes out comes Seth Rollins as a jack behind on Lashley. Next thing you know, in comes Dean Ambrose to sort of help a brother out. Out of nowhere, Finn Balor's music pops. Everyone's in here. And what becomes a six-man tag team match, tag match. Fucking amazing. So we got Rollins, Balor, and Cena versus Lashley, McIntyre, and Ambrose. What do you think?
I think I was shocked initially. I was like, I didn't see that coming at all. I thought it was just going to be a free-for-all, but the six-man tag match definitely worked out. I was impressed with the athleticism of everyone, to be perfectly honest, especially, obviously, John Cena hasn't actually been in a ring fighting properly in over a year. Yeah. Like, I was really impressed with the athleticism of them all, and I was even more so impressed with, obviously, the team of Bobby Lashley, Dean Ambrose, and was it Dean?
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm having a moment. McIntyre. McIntyre, like, I was really impressed with how cohesively they worked.
Exactly.
You'd think as I guess you'd call them the heel team of this match.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that they'd work so well together, but I guess they all have a common enemy. And that's why they're just like, well, so cohesive.
What I found really impressive is going on what you're saying, because like these guys have never worked in a team before. So having them know each other's strengths and then knowing when to tag and get the right stuff to sort of get that advantage in the ring.
Exactly it. And they dominated for most of the match.
They're the big team. So it was, and like, at the same time, we got all the big stuff out of Rollins and Cena and Balor. Like, so we had Cena try to do the 5 moves of doom. Yeah, I think it may have been on Drew McIntyre at the time. Yes. Like what I wanted to see at the start, so it worked out well. But, it did all come down to a very Seth heavy for the good guys with good and evil vibe going on. So Seth did dominate. He pulled out all the big stops, a lot of aerial stuff. He showed a relentless force. Like, this is the old Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Like, this is what Triple H wanted. Yeah. This is what he's getting, and he's willing to deliver. He wants that Intercontinental Championship, and he's going to fight fucking for it.
Exactly.
So it all eventually comes down to Ambrose getting Rollins in that Dirty Deeds, and it's like, as we've seen, every time they've bought, the Dirty Deeds is what brings Rollins down. Like that, like they could be just the power of the Dirty Deeds. It astounds me.
Yes.
But Rollins reverses it, gets the fuck out, gives him a curb stomp, gets the pin, gets the win. Beautiful. Absolutely exceptional match. Then out of nowhere on the big screen, we see old Triple H sitting there having some chats with Bayley and Sasha Banks. I'm like, don't blame him. But then again, if I was ladies, I would also be hitting on Triple H. So either way.
Yeah,
either way it works. So he comes to see that he isn't fucking paying attention. He is sitting there getting the shits up Seth Rollins about how he needs to be this, he needs to do that to have a shot. And the fucker's not even paying attention to him. Like, what is this?
Me personally, when I saw it all, I thought it was a bit of a play on Triple H. To be like, I guess to provoke Seth a bit more, to give him that drive to be like, well, if he's not watching, I'm going to make him watch type thing. Yeah. I feel that Triple H in his head is playing mind games to try and get that Seth Rollins out
and you can tell that to be the case, because Seth Rollins fucking pissed at this point. Yeah. He's like, nah, I get everything the fuck out of my way.
Storming out. I knew straight away it was a mind game.
Sitting there, Tripp's got his coffee. He's like, oh, hey, man. Fucking whacks that shit out of his hand. Yeah. He's like, did you not just see what I did? I just dominated that ring. I want Dean. I want that championship. I want it tonight. And credit to Triple H. He's like, done. It's yours. 4 counts anywhere.
Yeah. I'm like, and that's why I knew. I was like, I saw what you did there.
Yeah.
I saw what he did there.
But credit to Triple H, my God. He is the cerebral assassin, and we saw it first hand
100%. Right, he hasn't changed.
He is still amazing. It was beautiful. And knowing there's going to be a 4 counts anywhere, woo, Like
I got so excited. It brings me back to the Attitude Era days.
Yep.
Like, especially with that brawl, starting off with just that backstage brawl, spilling out into the ring and everything, and then back out. Like, that is the wrestling that I fell in love with. That is what gets me excited. You can see I'm getting a bit like, bring it on, like, get angry. Like, that, the whole Falls Count Anywhere, that really brought me back to why I fell in love with wrestling first. And for me, only starting to watch again, like, I've only really started watching over the last couple of pay-per-views and consistently watching over the last 2 weeks the weekly shows. And that gets me really excited. That's what's drawing me back in, is that, like, oh, look at this. Like, they're getting angry. They're, like, beating the crap out of each other, and it's not PG. Like, I'm absolutely loving that.
Yeah, there as we mentioned before we started recording, you're seeing a turn here. You're seeing a change in what we thought the PG or the domination era, I think it's called, something like that.
Something like that.
You know, it's moving into something else. It's getting a little bit rougher, which is good. These guys, none of these women and men are, like, not pulling punches. Shit's getting real.
Yeah, they're literally pulling punches. Like, they're actually, like, brutalizing each other. And this is what's going to keep us engaged, and, like, it's what's keeping me engaged. Like I said, it brings me back to my roots of what I started watching and why I fell in love in the first place. So I'm definitely getting really excited about the direction it's taking.
I was watching it at work, and so we had it on while we were just doing some basic admin work, and then because I was talking to my boss, and I was like, you know what I haven't, because he's a wrestler fan from way back.
Love it.
So I'm like, man, you know what, I'm not seeing a backstage brawl in fucking ages. And, like, I went back and I was rewatching some early 2018 stuff, and then we see this was right around the bout of Kane versus Braun versus Brock for the Universal Championship. And then, like, that's where Braun just goes, he just tears it apart. He is like, being the monster that we know him to be, and he's pulling down sets and he's crumbling these dudes. I'm like, I've not seen any of that since I've dived back in. And then out of nowhere we get this backstage Fall Counts Anywhere. Beautiful, absolute fantastic.
I feel like 2019 is going to be a very exciting year.
Oh, it's gonna be fantastic.
I'm so excited to see where it's going to take us.
But to return to that somber note, we do have the Hulk into the Hulk Hogan's. I wrote the Hulk,
the Hulk.
Not the Hulk. That would be
the Hulk
rad.
Hogan's.
The Hulk Hogan's. He does enter the ring to deliver an incredibly powerful eulogy. For Mean Gene. Now, I have my own issues with Hulk Hogan.
100%.
I was willing to put them aside for this.
Yeah, I agree completely.
What I loved is there was an incredible moment where he sort of talked about some of the other key wrestlers that have passed. You know, like your Rowdy Roddy Pipers, like your Ultimate Warrior. You know, like these big names that are now sharing wherever that is with Mean Gene. I thought that was amazing. Like, Paris was a little bit, because they were the wrestlers of his time.
And I was very much the same, and obviously, like, I could see Hulk welling up, and I was welling up with him, and it definitely, for me, it was the same thing. Like, you know, they are the wrestlers of my generation as well. Even though I came in a bit later, as they were on the tail end of it still, for me, really struck a chord, and especially with Hulk Hogan doing that, because he was part of that as well. And it must be so hard for him watching all of his friends.
Because you know, even with, like, you know, over at WCW, like, like Mean Gene was there too. So it's like they've worked together. They've not just been working, they've been friends. They've been. It makes sense. It makes total sense. But it was a lovely eulogy.
100%.
Then moving into the Tag Team Championship rematch. So this is between Bobby Roode and Gable against the Revival. So this is sort of a follow-up from the previous week, where during a chaos of this sort of little bout, I think I'm getting them mixed up. I am right there. So sorry, because I'm just following up on something on SmackDown as well. So there was a little bit of a scuffle during this sort of roundabout tag team that we're having on last week. Wrong dude gets pinned. And the refs there gives him the 3, and it's not a valid win. And the Revival, who have been consistently fucked. Like, these guys are incredibly strong wrestlers. Like, why are they not getting their time? So, granted, they totally earned this rematch here. Now, this is for a championship, of course, because with the current champs being Bobby Roode and Gable. What do you think?
This is a new feud to me. I haven't heard of these tag teams until now. So for me, I obviously watching the replays of what had happened previous weeks and things like that, I think definitely it was a very, very valid rematch. I was really impressed with the athleticism. It was a phenomenal match, but my God, like, these guys keep getting screwed.
Yeah, it's tough for the Revival because, you know, as their, I don't know their slogan still is currently, but for a while there it was no flips, just fists. Like, these guys are legitimate, by the book, proper fucking wrestlers. So for them to have those rules used against them, or to have those rules be broken around them, is pretty fucked. So it was sort of a relatively by the numbers match. You know, like, there's not a lot going on there. They both teams held their own very well.
Yes.
But it did have with there was sort of a between Gable and Dawson sort of having this big scuffle where Dawson had the advantage, interference from Bobby Roode, getting Gable into a position of power, getting him going for the count. However, during that time, Dawson gets his foot hooked on the rope. Ref doesn't see, 3 count, and it counts as a win again.
Yeah,
double fucked.
And this is what shits me about this match as well is as you saw, they had the other tag teams around the ring.
Yeah, because it was a lumberjack match.
Yeah, exactly it. So it was witnessed by other teams, and yet the referee still discredited it, like, as if you can't.
100%. Like, we have the dudes from the Ascension there being like, "No, this is bullshit." Like,
yeah, exactly.
This is not what this is not what happened. That's not the win.
Yeah,
cancel
exactly
that shit.
it.
I don't know what's going on.
Do you think maybe referees could be paid off?
It could be.
Do you think that's?
I think that'd be very unglorious, but it's certainly a possibility.
It definitely seems like a possibility. It seems like somebody's deliberately turning a blind eye.
Yeah, like, what's the advantage here of Bobby, Roode and Gable getting that clear, and you can't have a ref that's oblivious, right? It's not possibly that oblivious.
Exactly it. They're trained not to be. Like, let's be honest, referees are designed to see everything, but at the same time, once a call is made, you can't exactly just take it back.
That's right.
A call is like the final call is final.
That's it. Like, we're not in the world of Baron Corbin anymore, where rules can change and a split.
Exactly it.
A split second. So I don't know. It could be some rollover from that, I suppose. Who knows?
We'll see where it goes.
Speaking of Baron Corbin, though, next up was Elias versus Baron Corbin.
Yes.
This sort of a tail end of him as general manager.
Yes.
Moving away from that, I think Baron's still trying to find his place now. He doesn't quite know where he fits. And, and Elias is not doing much help coming out there and talking about how he enjoys Baron Corbin's failures more than his own successes. It's like, for him, that's what the joy is, and it's pretty fucking brutal of Elias.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it definitely does seem like being on the tail end of that management run, like, Baron is quite lost. Obviously, like, even in his ring attire, he's just coming out and...
Yeah, he's still in his GM gear.
Yeah, he's still in his GM gear. So it definitely seems like he's trying to find himself.
Yeah, at the same point, I'm hoping he doesn't try to grow back his long hair, because he's the baldest man with the longest hair. I don't know how he did that for so long.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. But I definitely think that I feel like this whole feud is going to be rolling into... Corbin turning those failures into successes. Yeah. And
he's got to come back and earn it. He's got to earn his spot again.
Exactly it, 100%. And I feel like, again, it's another one of those mind game things where if Elias is going to throw this shit at Baron, it's going to cause him to trigger and have his, I guess you could call it the Seth Rollins moment or, the AJ Styles moment, where they're all like snapping into these...
Like, this is where shit lines up. Yeah,
they're snapping into these angry characters. Again, that whole Attitude Era thing. Like, they're snapping into these very, very vicious people.
Like, using that pain in the ring. Like, don't, like, fuck around with it outside of the ring. Get in there.
Exactly it. Use it to your physical benefit.
And that's exactly what happened here. So, compared to last week's match, where it spilled out into the crowd. It was like, there was like... chaos out there. Where this was a very clean match. It was in the ring. He got the win. Baron got the pin legitimately. Like, there was no fucking around here. He earned this win. It was all
100%.
him. Very, very impressive.
Do you think this is a turn for him?
I think it could be a good setup for something good, something powerful. Yes. It is a bit of a dickhole of Elias to keep this feud going. Like, I say that in the idea of, he's had his time. he's had his consequences. He's lost his job. He got beaten. He got stomped not just once at TLC.
Yes.
Then the McMahons, his bosses, then turned around and went like, guess what? You're gonna get your ass kicked again this week. Why? Because we can.
Yeah.
So like Baron's in a tough place, and
100%.
you know it's you know. It was also nice to see him get the win on the end of days.
Exactly it.
Sort of like he coming in, big the power, get the big signature move. Fucking killed it. It was
exactly it.
Yeah, no, I was pretty stoked at that actually.
It was definitely well earned, especially considering his run as of late as well. I definitely think it's this point now is the up point, and I feel like something big is going to be coming for him this year.
Yeah, like he's hit it. He's hit probably a personal low.
Yeah,
it's good to get that back on the upswing.
Exactly it.
So then we get a little promo from Ambrose, who's hiding in the fucking basement, bitching and whinging about that he doesn't like 6-man tag teams. 16 tag team matches. He goes on about how he wants to beat the piss out of Seth Rollins. Nothing new here. We've heard about him for weeks. Yeah, he's just being Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like he's just hanging out in weird fucking places, threatening to punch people.
Just being a crazy little lunatic.
Just being the as you said, being the fringe.
Yeah.
Now this is something that caught my interest because I'm a big Braun Strowman fan.
Yes.
So we next move into what was promised. It was the Brock Lesnar Braun Strowman 1-on-1. We're going to see these guys talk it out before, not even talk it out, just got to get in each other's faces. Moving into Royal Rumble at the end of this month.
Yes.
So Braun enters, comes into the ring. He just starts talking smack. Like he's like, where the fuck's Brock Lesnar at? He needs to be here. I'm gonna take him on, and we're gonna get. I can't fucking wait to Rumble. I want to beat his ass now. Then we get Brock and Paul Heyman on the screen, not even having the gall to show up to the match. So it's almost like they're like, look, wow, we pre-recorded this shit. We ain't gonna fucking be there. We're busy. We're busy.
Yeah.
This is the fucking. This is the machine. What is it? The Beast.
The Beast.
He's too good for this. This is the fucking Universal Champion right now. He doesn't have time for you petty bullshit, Braun. But the other day, just even some exceptional banter. It was just great. But I don't know. There was something that Braun said that just triggered Brock. And next thing he's turned around, he's running down, and he's heading into that ring.
See, this is something I love about Paul Heyman being Brock's spokesperson. Obviously, Brock he's not very good with words, let's be honest. He never has been. Yeah. He doesn't actually really say anything, so he needs that voice. But at the same time, it's a voice that's like, when you look at Brock and you listen to Paul Heyman yapping away, it's like Brock just doesn't register half of it. Like he's just in his own world, and you always notice like, I don't know if he possibly has a lunatic fringe to him.
There's something a little bit in there.
Yeah, there's always something there where he's like, it could be the most aggressive thing, and like Paul Heyman's losing his mind, and Brock's just standing there smiling weirdly. Like that's something I've noticed heaps.
But it could be just that the beast in him that only
pays attention.
Unleash the he's keeping that shit at a bay. But when that we've seen it happen. We've seen that moment where Brock just kind of has that moment, and he's just obliterating dudes.
Yeah, and I feel like it definitely is a case of like choose your words wisely with him, because say calling him a coward or things like that, that's going to trigger him to come straight after you. Yeah. Like he's going to come barreling like a bull out of a gate. Like,
but yeah, speaking of the Beast, like even when he does then walk into the ring, music pops, he walks out. He doesn't confront Braun. He does a lap of the ring and fucking bounces.
Keeps walking.
Dude, that's some mind game shit. Like for someone that is the Beast, and when you say the Beast, you assume an uncontrollable fucking monster. No, he's
clearly got something ticking over in his brain. Yeah. Like he clearly, when Paul's yapping away, he's clearly like gears are going, and he's got something in his head, and he knows what he's gonna do. And most of the times, Paul Heyman's not gonna stop him because he's on a mission. Yeah. And he knows what that mission is, and I don't think he shares that with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman just yaps, and he just does his own thing, which I love. I love that.
Yeah, spot on. Because this is something that Brock knows that Braun has been wanting this. He's been he's been urging for this Universal Championship for like the better part of 6 to 8 weeks now. And then having the beatdown, and then being forced to get after the demolishing on his arm from Baron and Lashley and McIntyre. So like that put him out. So if anything, Brock knows this is eating at Braun. This is getting 100%. In his head. So by him just going out, not confronting him, just getting up in his shit and leaving, I don't know how Braun's going to survive another 3 weeks.
I definitely think it's going to take a toll on him for sure. I feel like the mind game is going to get more severe in the road to Royal Rumble as well. I feel like you know, Brock never speaks, so you never know what's going on. But I feel like he's got some tricks up his sleeve that, yeah, are really going to do some serious damage.
Brock's going to have an advantage coming in. He's not just going to be in a better physical place than Braun with his fucked up elbow, but he's also going to have that mental sap as well, because as eating a Braun like it is, he's going to come in and instantly disadvantage. Yeah, he is, because
he's vulnerable.
You know, he'll just be playing out of pure. He'll just be getting that wrestling out of pure emotion, where Brock will have that upper hand because he can play a bit more strategically. He can hold that
100%.
It's going to be a very
good,
interesting outcome. Next then we had a bit of another mixed match with Ember Moon and Apollo Crews against Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. Sorry, my handwriting's appalling. I'm just going to put it out there. Fuck, Jinder Mahal is a beast of a human.
I am always so blown away by the physique of that man.
Yeah.
Like, every time I see him in the ring, I'm like, holy shit, like, how is someone so ripped?
Like, you look at, like, Apollo Crews, who is no small man by any stretch of the imagination.
Exactly.
You get him against Jinder, I'm like, dude.
Yeah, everybody looks minuscule in comparison. It is wild. Absolutely wild. That guy is just, honestly, like, obviously he plays the heel card. He's not designed to be that, the loved guy. He's not the lovable guy. He is the guy that you love to hate.
Yeah, but he's got, like, because he's got the Singh brothers there, he's got that composure, and that's what makes him even more of a menacing dude. Exactly, he comes in looking fucking horrifying. He has that Zen-like focus, and then.
To me, like, physically, like, I find that very, like, his whole physique is just super pleasing. Like, and not in that sort of sense, as in, like, aesthetically, he is just so well ripped, and it's just, you look at him and you're just like, wow, like, you are a physique, and it's an impressive physique for sure, and he can wrestle. Like, he can throw some moves.
Yeah, and he can also spout some words, apparently. So, outcome here, like, he was down to fuck anyone. Like, it just wrecked their day. Yeah. He's standing up there. He's just like, hey, woman with a mustache in the crowd. Like, he is just yelling at people. He was pissed. He was ready to rock and roll. But goes the other way. This match went down in under 2 minutes with... I can't remember who got the win. I didn't write it down.
What's the female over Alicia Fox? She brutalized her.
Oh, Ember Moon. Ember Moon, fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely just ripped Alicia apart. Like,
that's right.
Didn't even get a punch
in. The Eclipse where she jumps off the edge, gives a big slam, and that may have been what got the win.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Ember Moon is genuinely a fantastic athlete here.
Yeah, 100%.
Comes out and she dominates. Like, even in NXT, she did bonkers, and then moving up here, she's a real someone that's moving her way up. She, out of all the wrestlers, is going to earn the title shot. Like, although we're about to get into Ronda Rousey a little bit, I think Ronda Rousey's better keep an eye on Ember Moon.
Yeah, 100%. She is a force to be reckoned with as well. Like, watching her. I swear it would have been not even 30 seconds and she had the pin on Alicia Fox. Like, she just bowled her straight over, and it was phenomenal to watch that.
It was great. It was amazing to see her come out there and dominate the way she did. So good. Next thing, we have a new segment for Raw, which is a moment of bliss.
A moment of bliss.
So Alexa Bliss having her own little talk show. So we've got Ms. TV on SmackDown. We've got a moment of bliss over here. Everyone's getting the talk show needs.
Yes.
She had Ronda Rousey come out, sort of asking her a question, just having a bit of a general thing. There's clear animosity here. Yes. I don't think Rousey's a big fan of Bliss. I don't think Bliss is a big fan of Rousey. Yeah. So Rousey's coming out and then having a big old chat about Sasha and saying that she, A, should be in the line for championship, and B, maybe even better than Becky and Charlotte. Yeah. And I'm like, can't be fucking farm woman. Yeah. Like, I don't even think you're Becky at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, I'll give Rousey props for being so genuinely nice about the way she spoke about how Sasha deserves that title. Like, sure, I think she does too. Like, I think she's a phenomenal athlete. And I think it was very big of Rousey to not just start talking smack right off the bat. I think it was very big of her to say, I think that she is a phenomenal athlete, and I think that she is good competition for me. I think that was really big of Ronda.
She referred to her as the unsung hero of Monday nights.
Yeah. I think that is pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
100%. But I think it was very big of Rousey to go that route. At the same time, I think it's also mind games of Rousey.
A little bit, because it could also come from a humbling place. Like with last week, having the bout against Natalya, like her trainer, sort of, it's good to have someone that knows and understands you. Like maybe it's a better way to wrestle for Ronda, to sort of have that respect with your competitor rather than this disdain that we see a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, you do find, obviously, like with your mind games and your anger and stuff like that, like the angry party does come in at a disadvantage because they're fighting purely off emotion. Whereas if you're on the same level as somebody, you can strategize as much as they can strategize, and it becomes an equal and even match. And it becomes a match that is the ones you get enthralled in. The longer ones, they're more... there's a lot more athleticism. There's a lot more excitement going on with them. And you do find that those tend to be the better matches.
I agree.
And I think she's definitely come into this with the mindset of like, if I treat her as my equal, I'm going to get the best out of her.
Yeah, and I'll get the best out of me as well.
Exactly.
So if you come in at the same point with respect, you're going to have a better fight.
Exactly. You come on the same level, completely like neutral playing field. And it'll work. Yeah,
so Sasha came out and sort of the same thing, being like, hey man, thank you so much, I'd love to have a shot, blah, 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 blah. Then we hear this fucking abhorrent noise out of nowhere. It's the dumbest song I've ever fucking heard. Coming from, and it turns out it's Nia Jax making barf noises into the microphone. And then he comes out here and delivers the most unsuccessful threats in the claiming that she deserves another shot at the championship. No, mate. You had a chance earlier in the year. You've come in here as the competitor. You don't get a rematch because you took on the champion and lost. You should, if anything, get a rematch because you were the champion and then lost your belt. She deserves shit in this circumstance.
Exactly it. And going back to obviously earlier in the episode with the whole Seth Rollins, you've got to earn your rematch.
Yeah.
Like, what has she done to earn it?
Jax. She's done Jax. She's done Jax to earn there.
She's done Jax. And like... that whole, like, oh my God, she can't talk smack to save her life.
No, like, it's...
Just, like, get behind me. Like, I am the line. Get behind. Like, come on. Like,
it'd be even better if she was like Tamina and don't say shit for 6 months. Like,
yeah.
I have not heard Tamina talk.
And that's what makes Tamina so menacing. Whereas Nia is just, at this point, she's a joke to me.
Yeah, like, I don't know why Tamina's playing second fiddle to this... shitty performer. Like, if she comes out there and does this, she's nothing.
Exactly.
She's nothing. I'm not even cool why she's around. But either way, Sasha Banks kind of calls her out and goes, you know what, you are fucking nothing. I'm going to fight you right now. And they have a match for the number one contender.
Yes.
Awesome.
Phenomenal.
Alex, although I don't give two shits about, like, I even though it's just weird, like my disdain for Nia Jax doesn't come from like, oh, you're a bad guy. What you do is like, I'm like, you are letting everybody else down by being here. You are not being a good opponent.
Yeah, you're the weak link in this whole chain.
Exactly. Like, by you being in the ring with anyone, you're not letting me see the best out of Sasha Banks.
Exactly.
You're not letting me see the best out of Ronda. You're dragging other people down. Like, being in the physical sport that it is, go train, get better, come back, and then be the irresistible force that you claim to be.
I think it definitely comes down to a physique thing. You look at wrestlers like, your big shows and your Great Khali, they're literally there to just bowl people over, but they still have some athleticism to them. And I think that's exactly it. And I think that's what they're trying to play with Nia Jax, but she's literally just there to stand and take a bump, and there's nothing else to her.
But even saying
she's very lackluster to watch.
Yeah, even saying that, like, we have seen her take on the likes of Alexa Bliss and, this five flat woman. She's tiny, right? And taking on... Oh, you're 5'1", I know.
Yeah. I was going to say, she's about my height.
If anyone you relate to it,
exactly,
anything.
Yeah.
Like, having them take on this match and sort of, in that... She should have dominated in that match, and then Alexa still came out champ.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on there. Nia Jax needs some time away. She needs to go work on this, work on herself, and find out what she wants to get out of this.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I was pre standard match. Like, Sasha did her right, gave her the bank statement, got the tap out. Fuck yeah! Like, it's not just bad enough she lost. It's bad she got tapped the fuck out.
Exactly. You want that humiliation.
That's what I want. That is what I want to see.
Yeah.
Only because, like, hopefully she takes this on and understands what she needs to be. Like, we don't have confirmation 100%. Of her going into the Rumble yet, but I wouldn't surprise me if she had a pretty strong spot
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if she does come back in.
Yes.
That does bring us to the main event, though, of Raw this week was that Dean and Seth Falls Count Anywhere Intercontinental Championship. Fucking awesome. I literally just wrote fucking awesome.
It was phenomenal. That is the wrestling that I grew up with. That is what I want to see out of my WWE today. Like, it was brutal. It was all you want out of, like, that sort of match.
Yeah.
Until the interference from Bobby Lashley.
Well, which, like, this is bullshit. So, like, it even started strong with Dean's coming out, we're getting his intro, he's getting ready, he's getting hyped in the ring. Out of nowhere, fucking in comes Seth Rollins, kicks the shit out of him straight away.
Exactly.
Like, and that is the old Seth Rollins. That's what we want to see.
Yeah.
This is the exciting fucking level.
Exactly.
Like, Dean has up until this point, like, he has been that dirty fighter. He's come in, he's doing the shit. So it's awesome to see Seth come in on the exact same level and not be afraid to push those limits. And
100%.
These guys fought everywhere. Like, when they said Falls Count Anywhere, they mean fucking anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, they're in the crowd, they're out the crowd, they're at the back. They went
stage boxes, like throwing each other through ladders and using like rigging, like using the whole rigging setup to try and like phenomenal. That is the old dirty, like really like roughhousey wrestling that I love. Like
so this is just showing that Rollins has that power. He has that gusto.
He
is keen.
He is 100%. He is all about it.
And like, he fucking had it. Like, he
had it in the bag until Bobby decided to bring himself down.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna. It's like, fuck, man. Like, he didn't interrupt your fight earlier.
Exactly.
Like, granted, they had that scuffle at the start, but obviously, once again, this only reiterates this potential possibility of Dean whispering in Bobby's ear.
Exactly.
Like, look, if shit goes bad, I'm gonna need you tonight. I need you to come out there and help me out. You know.
Exactly it. Can we just talk about that punch? That punch from Seth to Dean right in the schnoz. Holy crap. Did I cringe? I was like, ouch, my nose. That just needs a special mention because that was a punch in the noggin. Like, wow. That was like the whole, like, yes, like, beat the crap out of him. Like, that was my moment where I was like, yeah! Like, I was, like, sitting in front of my screen just, like shaking and just, like, yes, punch him in the face. Show him how much you hate him. Show him how much you want
Like I said, I'm watching this at work. I'm just like, nah, fuck my laptop off. This is I'm not writing shit right now. This is getting all my focus.
Yeah, 100%.
So as we assumed, as we said, Dean gets the win. He keeps the Intercontinental Championship that little bit longer.
Yeah.
And to make things worse, Bobby Lashley then throws Seth through a table. Like, he just adds that little bit of a grunt there. And
exactly.
I want to know, like, if this conversation is happening between Dean and Bobby. I want to know what the hell's going on. Like, I don't see it being an alliance or anything like that, but something's going on.
Yeah.
Like, he's
100%.
Like, even if it's just self-motivated, Bobby's just trying to push himself forward.
Exactly. It weasel his way into that number one contender spot. Yeah,
like, I don't think Seth is the right guy to be pushing. It'd be a very interesting outcome because, like, although that Seth is on the Intercontinental Championship run, like, that's his target at this point.
Exactly.
I can certainly see him deviating from that in, like, taking Bobby down and then moving back on that line.
Yeah, 100%.
Fucking awesome episode of Raw.
Phenomenal. I was so over the moon, especially sort of only really being the second week that I'm getting back into it. I am on such a high. Like, I am so excited for where this is going to take, and I know that the Road to Royal Rumble is probably going to be one of the most exciting that we've had in a long time.
Like, even for me, there were some slowdowns sort of towards the end of last year. Just like, even I'm not quite sure what was going on. Like, I think it could have just been once again rolled over from Baron. Like, the booking was poor. Getting these people to, like, it wasn't there. I don't know what's going on. Like, as the man said, they were looking away, they were letting them do what they want, and that worked negatively. So I hope if they sort of do all right, we might be in a good place.
Exactly. But, new year, new WWE.
That's it. So let us know what you guys think of Monday Night Raw this week, because we're about to move into SmackDown. So this one aired on January 8th in the US. No fucking around here. It kicks straight off with Daniel Bryan. So he's hanging out in the foyer, just yelling at people. He's
phenomenal.
He's acting like the homeless man that he appears to be.
Yeah.
He's just in the foyer, just yelling obscenities at people. So he's sort of going along the lines of, If AJ Styles wasn't the superstar that he was, he would be here. He would be in this foyer eating this garbage food that they buys because he's the garbage person.
Yeah.
Buying this shitty fickle merch. You know, he's the problem.
Yeah.
The thing is, claiming that the people, we as the consumers of WWE are fulfilling a void within ourselves with this shit food and this shit products that are killing the environment.
And these shit superstars,
yeah,
AJ Styles.
Exactly. It's like, you know, like we're filling a void here with the wrong people. We should be, you know, helping, like supporting people like Daniel Bryan and. Man, because, you know, he even pulled apart the merch guys and, like, where's the fucking Yes shirts?
I found it very interesting that he said there is no Yes shirts because Yes is dead and I've killed it. I found that very interesting that he fully acknowledged that he killed the Yes movement.
Well, he acknowledged in the style.
Himself.
Like, yeah, last year he sort of mentioned, like, when he had that realization that Yes is dead, and, like, he fucking belts AJ Styles in the balls, gets the belt, and, you know, that's unleashed what this is, like. You know, the Yes movement was fantastic for what it was, but you know,
definitely a new time for Daniel Bryan.
Something's changed in Daniel. Like he's had that he's had this realization in himself that he needs to step away from that, and in
his own words, he needs to change it.
Exactly, spot on. And like, I think we're seeing the realest Daniel Bryan I've ever seen.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely think this Daniel Bryan he's going to be ridiculous. He is going to be ridiculous as an athletic competitor. And psychologically, I think he is just going to really blow this apart. Well,
and then that's also a little bit later, but he makes the claim that he will be the WWE champion forever.
Yes.
And
that's a bold claim.
It's a bold claim, but fuck, I can see it.
Yeah.
Like
as bold as it is, you look at it and you're like, yeah, I can believe that. 100%, because he is just this. He's just something else. Yeah, he always has been.
So even things can get in his way. So as he's going down the ring and he gets back ringside, out of nowhere comes R-Truth, gives him the spear, brings him on. R-Truth gets the upper hand. He begins to dominate over him for a while.
100%.
Not thinking that the Daniel was down and out here. Like, no. Like, R-Truth did give him a bit of a push, but once you see Daniel get that clear head back again, he gets his footing, it turns. R-Truth had fucking no chance.
Exactly.
You know,
and I was quite impressed by R-Truth, honestly. I've never thought too much about him. And watching him just dominate the start of that match was I was really impressed. Especially, obviously, he is such a ditzy person. He's very not there in that sense. To see him so collected with his athleticism was so enthralling to me.
And I think that could be part of his little, speaking of mind games earlier, like, comes out being the casual dude, just hanging out, chilling out, having dance breaks and shit. Yeah. And then moving that into then out of nowhere, no one's going to expect him to be the calculated, you know, physical man that he is.
Exactly.
Like, it kind of, if I was in that fight, like, I wouldn't be ready for it. I'd be like, what is this? Yeah. This is not who I think I'm versing.
Yeah, exactly. It is like, who is this R-Truth? Like, take the costume off. Where's the mask?
Exactly. But as we mentioned, it did turn once Daniel got his feet back. The complete match went the whole other way.
Exactly.
Ending with Daniel Bryan getting a big old running knee into R-Truth's face. No chance. Like, you can't recover from that shit. That is a big old break into the face. But no, it was a fantastic match. It was a great way to kick off SmackDown.
100%.
Because we did going in, we did know there was going to be Daniel Bryan versus R-Truth, because there has been some issues in the past as well.
Exactly.
So we know that was coming in, but that is not how I thought that was going to go.
Neither. That was so good.
Next, we head into a tag team match. We've got, I can never pronounce it right. I wrote the full name here. Andrade Cien Almas and Samoa Joe against Rey Mysterio and Mustafa Ali. Holy fuck. So what a great selection of dudes here. Like,
exactly.
What I love about this so much is it's these older guys that they've been around. They know what's up, and it's almost like they've taken these younger NXT upcomers under their wings and really
100%.
push them in a great way. Like Samoa Joe is he is a force to be reckoned with. Like he's just a dude that comes in, powerhouse.
He's a solid powerhouse for sure. He's definitely, for being the bigger guy, he's definitely got some athleticism behind him.
He's like Kung Fu Panda. He's like light on his toes, but he's fucking heavy.
Yeah, exactly it. And I'm often so blown away with like his matches and how the speed he has behind him and things like that. He's definitely like a wrecking ball for sure.
Yeah.
And it's really impressive, especially when you see him up against such athletic athletes, you know, like your Rey Mysterios, your Mustafa Ali's,
these guys have that advantage with Samoa being the dude that he is and the size that he is. He is very down on the ground. Like
the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
That's it. He doesn't have the luxury of getting up and about and flipping around. So taking on Rey Mysterio, Mustafa Ali, like that is an instant hurdle because these guys are up airborne, like running around. Like
shorter, they can go under him. That whole thing.
That's it.
100%.
But then having Samoa work with Almas, it's fantastic because this guy is just a huge dude, but he's also got that physicality. He's got that lucha inspired skill set that Rey Mysterio has.
And it was even mentioned that he looks up to people like Rey Mysterio, like that is his idol. Like, so you know that his background comes from that lucha style, that he is, if he goes up against Rey, you know that there's going to be some serious shit going on.
Yeah, it's like it did almost hit like an odd stalemate a little bit.
Yeah.
So because with Rey and Mustafa, with Samoa and Mustafa or Rey and Joe, like because they have different styles, there are ways that you can get the advantage on the other person.
Exactly.
Seeing Rey and Almas, like these guys know the same shit. It's
it. They like, do the same moves. They come from the same background. They know each other and how they're going to work.
Yeah, it's like two exceptional like karate dudes who are both trained in the same dojo, who are both trained in the same shit. Like these guys know each other. They know how to read each other because they have that same background. And like an example is like almost being a big dude. Like Rey has him around the neck, I think, with his feet, and he's ready to give him that throw, but. Yeah, almost like I ain't got shit. I got fucking flips him back around. I don't think that's what got the win. I don't remember on that one. No, I think it was. Yeah, no, because that's what made it more powerful. The fact that he got the win over Rey. I think Almas is really to be something to keep an eye out.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Like he is, especially that whole thing there where like Rey sort of flipped him over and he's like on his head with his legs in the air and then he rolls back over and then Rey does that weird like pile driver thing. Like that was phenomenal, but the fact that this guy was just able to get up out of that and then just overpower Rey was like, he's definitely somebody to watch for sure.
Yeah, even with Mustafa, he's still very like high flyer. Didn't phase him at all. And then you've got, you've got Zelina Vega hanging on the side, giving him those awesome words of encouragement.
Exactly,
being the great supporter that she is. Almas, like sort of helping him, keep him on his toes.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic match.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely I agree completely. He is somebody to watch. Almas is somebody to keep an eye on.
Like saying that though, like Mustafa ain't no one to fuck around with.
Agreed.
Like having him come up the last couple of weeks, we've confirmation that he is now a WWE SmackDown superstar.
Love it.
And he came out of the great fucking running. Like he beat Daniel Bryan.
I know. He's really blown me away with how quickly he's developed himself coming into the WWE. Like he's really made a phenomenal splash. And there's another one you keep an eye on
because does a great splash.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But phenomenal. Like he is definitely one of those. Again, he's like your Almas. He's somebody you need to watch, because there's going to be something huge come out of him this year. And it might not be until the latter half of the year. We don't know. But I reckon that something massive is going to come out of him.
I think these two dudes that we're going to see them neck and neck. Whether it be the US Championship, whether it be the fucking... these guys are going to win something at this time. They both have this focus and this drive, and I think we're going to see some awesome stuff out of them. So we saw a couple promos here. We saw Kamala coming out talking about... Because the main event for this evening is Triple Threat with Kamala, Charlotte, and Becky all going for that number one contender spot for Rumble. For the Women's Championship. Kamala comes out, does a great spiel about, like, fucking earned this shit. We'll save that. We'll get to when we get to the main event. Next, we hear from the Usos. They're talking about how this is their time. They're coming in. They're going to take on the Bar. They're going to get that tag team championship, and they're going to fucking run with it.
Yeah.
Seeing this promo, we see the Miz.
Yes.
Coming in, having a chat to Shane McMahon, being like, look, if the Usos can have their shot at the belt, why can't we, the greatest tag team in the world. Why can't we have that shot? He's like, look, you are the son of Vince McMahon.
Exactly.
You have the power here. Fuck with it. Like, give us that shot. Credit to Shane though. He's like, nah, look, I can't do that. We can't. We have to earn that shit. We can't just take because of who I am.
Exactly it.
And then of course there's a bit of chat about what they should wear and sort of stuff. And then fucking, I love Miz's enthusiasm. He wants this to be. He wants this to be the big championship. Like we have a great moment a couple of weeks ago where he sat down at Miz TV with Shane.
Yes, I saw that.
And talked about why
he bore his soul.
Like we saw a real human side to the Miz. Like the Miz does have that persona, the arrogance, the smugness. Being the superstar, the A-lister that he is.
Exactly it.
It was huge to see him open up like that.
Exactly it. And I think it gives. The whole thing with Shane saying, like, I know where you're coming from because obviously I deal with this with my father. Like, I think that really opened up that personal side to them as well. And I think obviously being in a position of power in the sense that Shane has to do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, he can't focus too much on the actual tag team side of things. But at the same time, I think he really wants to try. And I love it. I love the pairing of them because they're so opposite. And it just works so well.
It's the odd couple of wrestling.
They are the odd couple, and it's so great. And the whole co-besties thing just gets me every time. And I'm just gonna put it out there. It's fucking dirty that Shane snuck in and got the best in the world champion at Crown Jewel. Yeah.
So dirty. Fucking the Miz earned that. Like out of those 3 matches, he won 2 of them. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what the way to fix it.
Yeah.
But the Miz deserves that shit. And to credit to Miz, rather than just being a cockhole about it, like because it was rubbing it in there for a little while. But he's like, no, we'll meet in the middle and we'll be the best team that we can possibly be. We both earned this trophy.
Yeah.
We should be the best in the world.
Exactly it. I think though, me personally, like the back of my head, I think that maybe Miz. Again, on the mind game thing, I think that maybe down the track...
something's going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to do something amazing and it's going to drag out for a long time, but I think somewhere along down the line, Miz out of nowhere is just going to pull something super shifty and it's going to be amazing. But until then, I am so excited to see what is going to come out of the Miz and Shane McMahon.
I agree. I think there is a long game here.
Can we call them Miz Man?
Miz Man.
Miz Man?
I think there is a long game here. I do think the Miz, like he's hurt. Emotionally, he's hurt from this. I can only see him at some point. Maybe the championship's on the line. Sorry, maybe that trophy's on the line again later, and he does the dirty, and he gets that back.
Yeah, there's definitely something he's harboring there, and he's using his personability with Shane to take that as an advantage.
Yeah, pulling maybe using that sort of whether it be fictional or not. Like he may have just told that to get Shane in his court. Like
exactly,
they could use that against him, man. Like this is pretty powerful stuff. Like we should keep an eye on the Miz. The Miz could do something amazing soon.
Exactly.
Next we have the current United States champion Rusev.
Rusev
Day.
It's Rusev Day.
After getting the win, not just on his birthday, but also Rusev Day over Shinsuke Nakamura. They had a bit of a beef last week, where during the because he came out to have a chat, Nakamura snuck out, took him down. Collateral damage. Lana gets dropped on. Brutal. Yeah. Brutal stuff.
100%.
She didn't. I don't think she was looking well.
No.
So, Rusev comes out to sort of address this issue and sort of, talk about it. Next thing we see that Shinsuke is in the control room.
Yeah.
He's like, look, here's the footage right here.
You did this.
I didn't do this. You did this.
Yeah.
Fucking brutal.
Yeah. Definitely not. I was not expecting what happened. Obviously, I was expecting Rusev to go after Nakamura, but I was not expecting him to come out of nowhere. Yeah. That was very tactical on his behalf. He obviously knew what he was doing and how he was going to execute it. Obviously, because of the language barrier, obviously Shinsuke doesn't have that back and forth rapport like Rusev has. He can't speak as well as he can, but he's got he's got the cogs turning in his head. He's got that mind game that he can play, and I love that a lot of everything that everybody does is mind games.
Yeah, so like
You can't discredit Shinsuke.
No one should assume that lost in translation means lost in intelligence. Like,
exactly
there's something else.
100% Shinsuke is somebody to watch out for because he can come from any corner. You never know where he's going to be, and that's what's so engaging about him.
That gangly motherfucker, like he is something.
Yeah, it's weird the ways that he's so tall and lanky and he can just move in weird ways. He baffles me.
Yeah, it was crazy stuff.
It's like watching a glitch in the Matrix. You're like, whoa, how did he do that?
Was he the king of strong style? He's something. He's very impressive. But that moved into what was that championship match between the Usos and the Bar.
Yes.
A pairing we've seen 100 times at this point, at least 100 times probably in the last 2 months. So there's not a lot going on there. You know, although the Bar have held the belts for a while, I would like to see maybe go to the Usos. Seeing as when we had the Tornado tag match last week, the week before, with the New Day, the Bar, and the Usos. The Usos had no ring time. They were there. Yeah. No one would tap them in. You know, these guys are exceptional. They 100% earned where they are right now. So it's kind of balls that they didn't get that in. So
yeah.
I'm glad they were given, whoever does the booking anymore currently, because we know that Paige is no longer the GM.
Yes.
So whoever approved the booking of Uso versus the Bar totally earned. I think Usos need to sort of get in there.
They need that spotlight 100%. They again, they're another force to be reckoned with. They are phenomenal athletes. They are amazing at what they do. And I was really enjoying that match. Until Mandy Rose.
So they have an advantage of being brothers. They have a connection that the other teams don't have. And
exactly it. You've got that lifetime connection somewhere you know each other so intimately, whereas the Bar they don't. They're just a pairing that have come together somehow. Like they don't have that rapport. So they definitely do have the advantage in that respect as well because they're going to work together. But at the same time, there is also that chance that maybe the siblings can have a falling out.
Of course.
It is one of those like, what's going to happen here?
And like
but I have high hopes.
The biggest issue they've got right now, as you mentioned with Mandy Rose. So aside from having to focus on working with Jimmy is being torn. Like although he has to work with Jay to be the Usos and to get this championship, he's also being pulled to this side with this little the biff that's going on with Naomi and Mandy Rose.
Exactly,
so for those who don't know, Mandy Rose is sort of trying to weasel her way in between Naomi and Jimmy, and that started at the Christmas show with her trying to get some smack on SmackDown with the mistletoe. And
I did see
thankfully, to Jimmy's credit, he wants fucking nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
Like contrary to the illusion that the dudes can't control themselves.
Exactly.
We know that he's there for Naomi.
Yes.
That's what's got to be.
Exactly it.
So Mandy comes out wearing a towel, sort of matching these pictures that she's been sending him. Fucking dirty. Like I understand Naomi's frustration. Naomi needs to kick the shit out of this woman.
100%.
Yeah. So she comes out in what we assume to be only a towel. Understandably, everyone's like, "What the fuck is this?" And the Bar take advantage of this. Go over there. They get the Dominator in. Get the win. Keep 1, 2, 3. Keep the belts.
Exactly. Yeah.
Brutal. This interception shit that I'm seeing everywhere is fucking balls.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think I love the fact that Jimmy sort of played it off. He didn't really pay attention. His focus. You see him look at Mandy, look straight back in and try and get that tag. He's got his arm out. He's chasing his brother. Like I think that is really. I love that it's going that way and it's not going the whole way of him being infatuated with the other girl.
Yeah, or he's not caving into this.
He's not caving. Yeah, exactly it. He's completely brushing it off. And I love seeing that. I love seeing somebody who's more focused on their goals than...
and their partner.
And their partner. Exactly it. Instead of just being the typical, sexy girl, I'm going to go after her type thing. I love that.
Because you hit on me first. You're like, no, that's not how it works.
Exactly it. So I really do have high hopes for the Usos.
Yeah, I think some good.
And I really hope that this little feud with Naomi and Mandy gets squashed.
Yeah,
because at the moment it feels like it's leading nowhere.
Hurting. It's just Mandy being a bitch.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
Exactly.
There's really no reason.
Exactly.
I don't know what her goals are coming out of this, other than just to get up Amy's butt. I don't know what's going on.
It.
But after all this calamity, out comes the Miz. He is ready to go, and he challenges the Bar for the championship.
He has some goals.
Rumble. Like, this dude's got balls.
I am all about it. I was so excited when the Miz came out.
Yeah, just after Shane being
yes,
like, we can't
I see what you mean. He's like, we got to earn this. You are going out there. You are earning this in your own right. I love where
That's
you're
what I
going
love.
with
Like,
this.
even though, because Shane was sort of being like why we can't do it.
Yeah.
But, like, the Miz takes that and be like, why the fuck not? And then comes out and he's like, I
love how he interprets earning it.
Yeah.
I love the way that, what Shane is saying is completely different to what the Miz is taking in. And it is so fucking great.
It's great. Like, he's like, look, we have to do some steps. He's like, you know what? You don't just get steps. You got to grab that shit. You got to bring it in. You've got to run with it. And the Miz is like, he took that initiative. He went out there and he grabbed it.
And he ran with it.
And I can't wait to see what happens at Rumble with that.
That is going to be phenomenal.
Following on with Naomi, though, so as Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are wandering backstage, Naomi's fucking done. Comes out, takes on the stomp, forgetting that Sonya Deville ex-MMA beats the living piss out of her.
Yeah.
Didn't go well.
Yeah, that one kick to the gut ruined her, but luckily hubby Jimmy was there to break it all up.
He nicely separated at the last minute, be like, what the fuck's going on? Like, this is not what we're here for.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the main event, which was, as you mentioned, triple threat, Becky, Charlotte, Carmella, for what would be the number one contender for the Women's SmackDown Championship at Royal Rumble.
Against Asuka. Phenomenal. I really like going into that match. Obviously, your big contenders are Charlotte and Becky. They are the front runners. Obviously, Becky's got a point to prove because she had to give up that title. Yeah. She didn't deserve to lose it. Obviously, that was entirely not her fault. So she's got something to prove.
And I think Charlotte's coming off the same bat there. So with having Ronda interfere at TLC, like, Charlotte was right there. She was so close to getting that belt. Like, if it wasn't for Ronda,
for an interference, she's got something to prove as well. And it felt a little bit initially like Carmella's just there as a filler. But I think, like, after watching the match, like, she's got that advantage in that she has been such a long reigning champion. Like, she had that championship for so long,
like 170 days
something
or
like
something.
that. Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Like, she wasn't just the women's championship before this whole Becky and Charlotte little run. Like, she was champion. She was Miss Money in the Bank for a while there.
Exactly.
This is Carmella is potentially, as going
she's
on,
an underdog in my opinion.
Yeah, going
she
on
really
what Ronda said for Sasha, maybe she could potentially be the unsung of SmackDown.
100%.
Like, she had a solid time, and she's after losing it, she's been pushed to the wayside.
Exactly it.
I do wonder whether, obviously we're seeing a lot of Carmella, coming out, giving the dance breaks and whatnot, and we didn't see that shit here. She is, although she's been hanging out with R-Truth and having fun, this is real. This was serious Carmella. She was on a mission,
100%. And she, for the most part, I was so impressed with how well she ran with that match. She was a strong contender against two phenomenal athletes. Obviously, Charlotte has the advantage in, like, obviously she's a more solid woman. She's a lot stronger than the other two. And then Becky's got the advantage in, like, her athleticism and how speedy she is and things like that. And Carmella was just like a mix of two. But the only downside is her emotions were the downfall of her. She got way too emotional in that match, and that's what ruined it.
Well, that's the thing, having the underdog, which means you've got more to fight for. Like,
exactly.
But she did have a distinct advantage, though, because with the animosity that Charlotte and Becky are facing right now against each other, that gave Carmella an advantage. So
an opening.
Even at the start of the match, like, Charlotte and Becky, they were just locked on each other. They didn't give two shits about Carmella. She didn't exist. So to them, that she was just there because someone said she had to be there.
Yeah.
Where Carmella had a stake, she went in, she gave it a good go, and took advantage of these two focusing on each other, be able to get some upper hand.
Exactly.
And, like, she did have a strong influence throughout, and as did Charlotte, getting up on the ropes, so up on the turnbuckle, getting some good slams in there. Becky just being the force that she is. And it did come down to, Carmella tapping out.
Exactly it. And I was
totally valid. You get put in the disarmer. It's not gone well.
Yeah, exactly it. And for me, that match could have gone any way. And that's what I loved about it. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, because even though the focus seemed like it was on Charlotte and Becky, Carmella just kept breaking through and proving that she is a strong contender. She's a very strong contender, and she's definitely another one to watch, because for all we know, she could come out of nowhere and end up on another 170-something day title reign. You never know.
She is somewhat like, so because she's going to have an advantage, right?
100%.
She's not just got the drive. She's number 30 in the women's rumble.
Exactly.
Thanks to winning the mixed match challenge, she's number 30. So she has the biggest upper hand right now, moving into the rumble.
Exactly it. And what that could definitely play in her favor for sure. I'd love to see something big come out of Carmella. I really would. I'd love to see a massive title reign out of her again. That would be very interesting. But at the same time, is it her time? Is it time for somebody else to take over? Is she done? So it can go any way with this, and I am so thrilled to see where it's going to go.
But yeah, so as we said, so it did end with the Becky getting the disarmer, having Carmella tap out. So Asuka will now be taking on Becky at Rumble. This completely threw out what I thought was like what I had. I had some ideas of what Becky's goals could be.
Yes.
I thought she would be in the place to be in the Rumble. I think she'd be a strong contender to win, and by then we would get the Ronda Rousey Becky match that we want. You know, having Becky lose her shot because of that interference, like she has every reason to go in there and kick her face in at Mania. But the same can be said for Charlotte. So now that Charlotte doesn't have that championship match, she can focus solely on the Rumble and 100%. Solely on getting one up on.
And
Rumble.
I definitely think in the Rumble she will be a very strong contender. And I will definitely be in Charlotte's corner, because I'd love to see where she could take that.
So the thing I don't know, this is just me being sort of relatively new to it all. Like, I want to know, does this mean that Becky can't compete in the Rumble because she has a match on the card already? Like, is there a cross there? Yeah,
I believe that's the case. I don't believe that you can compete in the Rumble if you have a match at Royal Rumble. So I love that, I'm excited for the Asuka Becky matchup, because they are both phenomenal athletes, and for me, I am fully excited about it, especially when Asuka come out and confronted her.
Oh, she roughing her shit.
I was all about it. I was so thrilled, because I feel like I am a huge fan of Asuka. Absolutely huge. And
I'm a mad Becky fan.
Yeah. Well, look, I appreciate them both as athletes, and that doesn't discredit that I think any less of Becky. I think they're both phenomenal, and I think that Rumble matchup is probably going to be one of the best.
Outside of the Rumbles themselves, that will be a highlight match.
100%.
Guaranteed.
100%. I am so excited for it, because they really are phenomenal athletes, and I'm really excited to see that matchup. I am really excited. And I guess for me, I kind of knew that it would be, I kind of knew Becky would take it out. Something in the back of my head was just saying, Becky's got this. And I think, for her, it's that drive to get that title back.
Yeah.
I think 100%, because she didn't lose it. She had to give it up. So I think she's got much more at stake, and she deserves to be going straight for the title instead of having to compete to get the chance to get it.
Yeah, because if anyone's earned their way right now, it's Becky.
Exactly.
This is the big thing that when we had the McMahons come out and say that nothing's given to you anymore, you have to earn everything you do here, and for that, she is the person who's earned it
100%.
Coming from out of relatively obscurity and very low, not even getting a whole lot of time. She dug her teeth in, put her claws in, crawled her way to getting to the man. So it's fantastic. But that's the big selling point for Becky, in terms of what Becky's been spouting against Charlotte, who comes from heritage. She's the daughter of Ric Flair, of the
She's
Nature
immediately
Boy,
got something
one of the biggest faces, one of the biggest people of WWE ever, and she had already had an easy way in. Granted, she is, as she would claim, genetically superior. She has that advantage, but
Becky's earned it.
Becky's done something.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
It's not a birthright. It's something she's
Charlotte
earned.
has earned it, though. Coming out of
Yes.
NXT, fighting her way into,
Yeah.
unlike the likes of, someone like Nia Jax, who
Yeah.
seems to be in there because of her family, as she's related to the Rock.
Yes.
Where Charlotte did earn her way to where she is now.
Exactly, yeah.
So when we say that Becky's earned it and Charlotte hasn't, it's a different space.
It's a different kind of earning, 100%. And this morning I actually was watching old matches of NXT and Charlotte, and she's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And, you're not given those skills to wrestle like that. She's learnt that. She's earned that.
Like every superstar that we see, they very clearly have some sort of inbuilt talent at this, but they have to work at that. You can be talented at anything, but you have to work your way.
Exactly.
Into
Practice makes perfect, and she's had a lot of practice at her craft.
Beautiful. Well, that was SmackDown for this week. So before we wrap this bad boy up, let's have a quick look at the Rumble. Rumble's 3 weeks away as the time of recording. We are getting the beginning list of what we're going to see in terms of the 30 people heading in. So we'll start off with the men, and we'll have a look at who we think is going to be a force to be reckoned with. So for Rumble, this is not in order of entrance because we're still not quite sure. The only one we do know is R-Truth, who is guaranteed 30. Everyone else is pretty up in the air at this point. So we've got Drew McIntyre, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Jeff Hardy, Xavier Woods, Dean Ambrose, Bobby Lashley, Samoa Joe, in who I believe is his first ever Rumble, John Cena, Elias, Baron Corbin, Jinder Mahal, Apollo Crews, Cien Almas, Mustafa Ali, and Rey Mysterio. It's 19 dudes at the moment.
19.
At this stage, looking at this list, I don't know where this is going to go.
100%. It is so up in the air.
Yeah, so seeing this, the new Seth Rollins, we're seeing this power coming out of Bobby Lashley, the drive of Dean Ambrose, the power of Jinder Mahal, the drive of what looks to be Baron Corbin at the moment.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre just having this relentless desire at this point to sort of crush anyone that gets in his way.
And I feel like, as weird as it's going to sound, like John's going to be a strong competitor because he's got to prove to the younger guys that he's still in this.
That's it.
So there's definitely that there as well. Like, it can go any way.
And there's also other threats now, like Finn Balor, who came in at the number 2 position last year. Yeah. With number 1 and 2 being Dolph Ziggler and Finn Balor, and he made it all the way to the end. Yeah. Pretty much to the end. Like he had such stamina and I don't know what. I can't use the words on that. He's someone to keep an eye on for. And of course, so you've got those big classics like your Jeff Hardy, and I'm baffled that Samoa Joe's never been in there before. Yeah. But a big advantage in this, when you have 30 people, you got some friends in there.
Exactly.
You've got the likes of the New Day. You've got Kofi, Big E, and Xavier. If these guys work together, they can do some force.
And they've already mentioned that. Whoops.
Caught it.
They've already mentioned that. Like, they've already said that they will be a force to reckon with because the three of them can use that to their advantage.
Exactly. So, like, if for any reason all three of them are in there at the same time, which we did see at 2018's Rumble, these, they have an advantage. They can use the power of 3 dudes to get someone like Samoa Joe over the rope. Someone as huge as Bobby Lashley. Like, they have a very clear advantage.
Exactly.
So if I was anybody else, I would want to get at least one of them out there. Quick.
Definitely.
Moving into the women, we only have 12 confirmed wrestlers at this moment, 12 confirmed superstars, and they are as following. As we mentioned, Carmella with her 30th guaranteed position, Ember Moon, Bayley, Sasha Banks, Natalia, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, so the whole Riott squad there, Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Alicia Fox, and Zelina Vega. Whew, it's very interesting. We still haven't heard from Charlotte. We still haven't heard from the likes of I don't know. A lot of the roster for
the women's division. It's I find it really interesting because I'm excited to see where they go with it. Whether it's all new roster women or if they do like they did with the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. And
in 2018, yeah, it was last
yeah, and they bring in like the big names like your Trishas and your Leaders and, you know, old school like Kellys and Tori Wilsons, and, you know, I'm really interested to see, because there is so little of them announced at this point. That's not even half the Rumble. I'm really interested to see where that's gonna go.
What I'm hoping,
Yeah,
out of the ladies, is we know that the tag team championships, the women's tag, are happening this year.
yes,
I think we're going to see some potential partner-ups here.
yes.
So what
potential alliances?
Yes, we might see the beginning of some alliances here in this Rumble.
Yeah.
And we'll see what could become the teams for the women's tag team championship.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like obviously we're going in there with some people that are already sort of connected.
Yeah.
We've got like, you know, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. We already know they're tight.
Yes.
Of course, Bailey and Sasha in the Boss Hug connection.
Yes.
The whole Riot Squad are there. You know, maybe even the likes of Lita and Trish Stratus might come back together and sort of,
exactly.
you know, they have something to fight for. These are the older women's not the right term, but these are Hall of Famers.
Yeah, they're the ones that paved the way for the division for what it is now.
Exactly.
They're the ones that brought in that athleticism, and that, you know, they took the women's division out of being eye candy and into being athletes.
Correct.
So I definitely think that would be a cool thing to happen as well.
We may, like I was saying, we may see some stuff happening.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see where the women's division goes.
It may be amazing if we see the belts.
Yes.
We're still yet to see the belt.
Yeah. If we saw them, that would be phenomenal. Yeah. I am really excited for Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the first episode of The Young and the Wrestlers, the PopCulturists Wrestling Podcast. Thank you very much once again, Jem, for not just doing the first episode, but also what looks to be maybe my permanent co-host here.
Co-hosting!
Yeah, co-hosting. We may bring some people in around like pay-per-view time to get some sort of people coming in and have a bit of a chat, and of course we will have our inside source, the Dirt Sheet Dash. I'm sure he'll come in with some big news throughout the year, filling us in with all the details.
I'm excited.
But yeah, we don't have a closer for this one yet. So until next week, I'm Ryan Betson,
and I am the phenomenal Jem.
That was The Young and the Wrestlers.